Hey everyone, all in crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. This is largely going to be a Bitcoin specific video where we're going to address Bitcoin dominance. We're going to address the fact that Bitcoin has been largely, if we look over the past 7 days, it's really the leader. And if you look at it a year to date, it's largely outperformed everything or most other things in the cryptocurrency market. And we're going to pick this to pieces. Why is this happening? We're going to look at a number of different things. So we're going to look at Bitcoin dominance, and then we're going to look at the role that Bitcoin dominance plays in relationship to the cryptocurrency, the entire cryptocurrency market. So what's happening when Bitcoin dominance goes down, what's happening when it goes up, and we're also going to look at the transition with the Bitcoin dominance from a bull to a bear market and really the role that it plays. And actually, there's some very positive things to come out of it. And I felt like this was a really important video to make. I'll be 100% transparent with everyone. I do not hold a single Bitcoin. And the reason being is because I'm taking the bet that altcoins outperform Bitcoin. When you look at some of these layer ones, something like Polkadot, for example, I think from an investment point of view, to me, makes more sense than Bitcoin. From a trading point of view, it makes more sense maybe to be in Bitcoin whilst the dominance is appreciating. But from an investment point of view, it's my belief, and this is a bet that I'm taking. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Ultimately, time will tell, and you guys may or may not agree. But I think that altcoins outperform Bitcoin over time. I think this was certainly true historically, and I think it's going to continue to be so. But that being said, let's look at the role that Bitcoin's playing right now. A little bit of theory to why Bitcoin moves first. And we'll show you actually that Bitcoin dominance typically leads us into a bull market. You see a gaining of Bitcoin dominance, certainly during the bear market. And then you actually see a rallying of Bitcoin dominance as it moves, as we see money come into it. Now, typically the transition from a bull to a bear market is often led by smart money. These are the people in the door early. And I think there's something to be taken here in regards to why we're seeing Bitcoin lead the market and typically see Bitcoin lead us into a new bull market. And it's because smart money, which is typically large money, will not play in other waters until it's safe to do so. So we've all seen pullbacks during this advancement from January, and often altcoins get smashed. We've seen some altcoins sell off 40%, 50%. Big money can't take that risk. Okay, and this is why you see, I believe, Bitcoin move first. Now, right now, we're in this very interesting kind of space where we're seeing the likes of Silicon Valley Bank fail. We're seeing central banks come up with measures to fix this, and the entire banking system is really a laughingstock. And there's a lot of heat coming onto Bitcoin as a result of this. But even if you took that out of it, Bitcoin is actually doing what it typically does in relation to the cryptocurrency market as a market cap in the start of something greater. Bitcoin typically is the first man through the door. We know that, and I've always used this, Bitcoin is that tide that rises and sinks all ships. And it's doing very similarly now. Now, in the future, down the line, I think this may change. I really do believe the likes of Polkadot, even Ethereum, Atom, Cardano, Algorand, I think they're very much the Apples, the Amazons of tomorrow. And remember, these have $1 trillion in terms of market cap. I think this is where these coins are going. But I think Bitcoin plays a very different role to layer ones, and that's or is certainly deemed a store of value. Now, one reason I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, and this is the main reason, largely is because what happens if the price of Bitcoin doesn't go up? Are you going to buy it if it's not going up in comparison with everything? But anyway, that's another argument. It's always good to, certainly if you're a Bitcoin maxi, try and answer that question in the comment section. What happens to Bitcoin's future if the price doesn't go up? It's the same with everything, but certainly with Bitcoin, in opposition with these layer ones, their real value comes from the people using them. Bitcoin's similar, but the only reason that Bitcoin's used isn't necessarily because it's got a lot of utility, but more because it's deemed to be valuable. Whereas with these layer ones, there's utility to them, and smart contracts are going to change the world. Everything is going to be run on a blockchain, and this is the direction we're going in. But to the topic at hand, you can see that Bitcoin, of course, has, and I'll get rid of my face here, largely outperformed the entire market year to date, and has been doing exceptionally well recently. Now, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and just to go straight from the bat, you know, if we go to the sort of peak of 2018, start of 2018, and what I'll do is actually make this a little bit more notable. Where we are. Let's go for a solid red line. You can see that actually the correlation with the markets are Bitcoin dominance goes down in a bull market and goes up during a bear market. So really Bitcoin dominance was on the rise until we started to sort of come out of the doldrums in 2019. And you can see, correlate this with a price. This is typically the sort of rule of thumb, if you will. Bitcoin dominance goes up in bad times because it's this kind of safe haven, this smart money sort of dump, if you will, and down in the good times. Now, there are, of course, pariahs with this. If we look at this, for example, you actually had Bitcoin dominance going up. And, of course, with the total market cap, remember, Bitcoin makes up quite a lot of this. And then you can see, so they're in correlation here, and then you can see Bitcoin dominance down. And largely, the markets were somewhat down as well. But there's a bit of a, it's not as correlated, if that makes sense here. So you can actually see, just hoping I've got this on auto here. That's 2019. There we go. That's probably as close as we're going to get. You know, Bitcoin dominance was down and the price was largely down. Really around this point here. And then we started to get Bitcoin dominance leading. And this really kicked off the sort of bull market. This Bitcoin dominance leading here. You know, you can see actually to put these back in line with one another. Just to sort of highlight what I'm trying to say here. You can see that actually Bitcoin dominance going up. Slightly out of whack. Was really what kicked everything off. And the market went up at the same time as Bitcoin, only for Bitcoin dominance to topple. And this is when your full-blown bear market or bull market took over. Okay, and then since then, so this is worth paying attention to. And actually, if you go back further, you can see that it was Bitcoin dominance going up and then initially down that sort of kicked off going into 2017. But this is generally what you're looking at here, guys, is you're looking at a Bitcoin dominance going up, which was the start of the bull market, and then it coming down sharply, and it might be at a point where it may do that, and this could suggest that alt season is coming. We'll also look at Bitcoin with Ethereum and Cardano stuck under it. You can see that as Bitcoin dominance went down, the total market cap went up, and then we entered this sort of sideways period, if you will. Which we're still largely in. And you can see Bitcoin's largely been flat. However, recently, obviously with, again, if you break this down more intricately, the rule of thumb is Bitcoin dominance goes up. And obviously this was a major panic period. However, you've seen Bitcoin dominance go up with the market, so not against it, which is a good sign, in a similar fashion to what it did, which was the precursor to 2017. And ultimately, altcoins are waiting to catch up. So you're doing a similar thing with Bitcoin dominance, starting, you know, the smart money's getting in before dominance comes down. Now, I do think there's a lot of this kind of banking is failing. Let's choose Bitcoin as an alternative. And of course, you've got Bilagi's bet. And I think largely he's on the money. And I can see Bitcoin playing a role in that maneuver. However, I think there's issues with that. I don't think his time period is quite correct, saying this is going to happen in the next 90 days. But actually, what we're seeing for Bitcoin is quite a promising sign for the overall market generally. And to now look at charts such as Bitcoin at the top here, not the dominance. You've got Ethereum and Cardano. If you look at, certainly if we look at when this sort of rally took place, and I'll get rid of any draws that I've got on previously, you can see there were and definitely are time periods where Bitcoin overperforms the market, right? So if we take Bitcoin from here, where its price is at, to this top made before we sort of started to wind up for March 2020 to take place, you can see actually Bitcoin, and what I'll do is actually leave these prices on so we can see, does have a period of overperformance. Now, this is a bit of a pariah. There is definitely the scenario, and we have laid this out before, that, you can see Cardano, look at what it did. It didn't really do a lot, right? So Bitcoin does have its day. If you look at, let's say, from same period of time here, how Bitcoin leads the market is what I'm trying to show people here. You can see it there are periods where Bitcoin definitely outperforms the market. And I think we're in one of those right now, and likely this is going to be the precursor to alt season. Alt season will come. There's just going to have to be a rotation. You can see generally Bitcoin outperforms the market for a while until it doesn't. So if we look at, if we look at March 2020 onwards, just to kind of show this, that Bitcoin, and this is why I'm betting on altcoins performing more, Bitcoin did a whopping 1,489%. Cardano, for example, Ethereum, did nearly 3,000%. So from a trading point of view, it makes sense to be in Bitcoin. Great call by an individual called the Market Sniper, Mr. Francis Hunt, on this. With Bitcoin dominance very much planned for. I want to also talk about the fact that Bitcoin dominance is very much, if you're a range trader, you'd be looking to short this here. And I think actually what you're going to see, and if you want to find out when alt season comes, it's when the dominance does this. When dominance rolls, because remember, dominance goes up. If the market's going up and dominance starts to, if the market's going like that and the dominance starts to go like that, you've got an alt season on your hands. Because alts are claiming against Bitcoin. If the market rolls, the chances are the dominance will keep going up. So this is stuff to kind of pay attention to. But you can see, this is why I'm largely betting on altcoins outperforming Bitcoin. I think, as always, showing you this here, there are periods of time, certainly coming into a new bull or a bullish period, where Bitcoin will actually lead the market. And it will outperform for a while until it doesn't. And this is what I'm betting on taking place again today. If we go over to today, we can see we've got a very similar sort of setup taking place. We take these lows here. And hopefully this is a good kind of experiment to do, because I've had lots and lots of people ask me, and certainly people know just how much more bullish I am on altcoins than the likes of Bitcoin. I think there is a real bull case for Bitcoin. You can see actually something like Cardano hasn't even really performed at all. Bitcoin's leading. It isn't that funny in a very similar way to what it did back here. Bitcoin's kind of leading things as it usually does, ready for overperformance if this is a new bull market for the altcoin markets. So this is really what we're watching for. Your alt season occurs when Bitcoin dominance goes down, but the market continues to go up. So when market does this, not sure what we've got there. Maybe the market does something like this and sets up. This is when your alt season, because this is the total market cap, really kicks in. And this is when your altcoins are going to fly, and it may be worth rotating. So this is stuff you guys have got to pay attention to as crypto investors. I think largely what's happening right now is this is larger money getting into Bitcoin. And ultimately, we will see that rotation into altcoins. And you know when that occurs. It occurs when Bitcoin dominance comes down, and ultimately the market continues going up. So I do think we'll see this. I think Bitcoin's going to perform rather well for a while longer. But then your altcoins, and you're going to have to accept volatility with altcoins. But then your altcoins largely will have a period of overperformance as we see capital trickle into it, as it becomes the sort of theme, and we see the market shift towards that. I think your altcoins will do very, very well. So that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. It wasn't really a short and sweet one, but I wanted to kind of go through a little bit of historical data in regards to Bitcoin and its dominance, and look at actually, well, what does this mean for the altcoins where they currently are? Are they going to continue to underperform, or are they not? Maybe they'll underperform in a short-term time period. Could be a matter of months. But if this market is moving in the direction that we think it is, altcoins will catch up as a new kind of market is ushered in. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so as a comment. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next one. Have a magic Monday. See you in the next.